Now that it's been about a week since our new featured program, the Sizzling Summer program, we gotta go through all the new cards, give my initial thoughts after getting some reps, hearing some thoughts from the community, and put them on our tier lists. Welcome to episode 2 of Tier List Tuesday, where each week we go through and tier list every Diamond MLB The Show. Let's get into it. These are all the tier lists, just to go through it very quickly in case this is your first time watching. We go through position by position, one tier list with secondaries, one without secondaries. Main reason I go through this is because I think in terms of primaries, a lot of times people prefer to play people in a primary position, and I think getting all the primary cards listed one by one is definitely valuable to do. However, we do the secondary tier list for the A and the S plus tiers, so you know who the better players at every position are. Ketel Marte isn't listed as a second baseman or a shortstop as a primary. However, he's a top tier option there. So I like to include secondaries for the top tier options. Also, for all of our tiers, they kind of scale down. Honestly, you could use any card in the game that you do well with, mainly B tier and above. But if you're going to be looking for like the best cards, definitely use the S and the S plus tier. The only difference between S and S plus is who I am personally picking. So let's hop on into it and go through our tier lists. Here is our catcher tier list. Now that we have Mike Piazza, I think he's got the potential to be the best hitting catcher in the game. Definitely does have the attributes. Thing is, his swing feels a little sluggish after using him again. Felt a lot like in years past. A good catcher, and definitely possible to get his swing down. However, many people are likely going to struggle with his swing, as per usual with the Mike Piazza card, which is kind of sad. However, he's worth a try, especially if you get him for free or you buy him for cheap later on in the program. However, if you play in Hall of Fame and Legend is where he might start to struggle with those faster pitch speeds. But as per usual, your S tier consists of your future star guys. I vibe with MJ Melendez after using him. Very nice card, but not much has changed in this front. Now that we include the secondaries, we include the A, S, and S plus tier. Again, Mike Piazza is definitely in that S plus tier. We're going to use one of 3 catchers on a Hall of Fame legend push for World Series. You should definitely consider Piazza, Mauer, or Jimmy Fox. I think they are the best of the best. However, in terms of your S tier, any of these guys that you do well with, I know a lot of people like Bart, a lot of people like Davis. I like Henry Davis a bit. Don't be afraid to use them. They're going to be very good options as well. And even in your A tier, guys like Kyle Farmer, Nasty, these cards are definitely good cards to use still too. Now we go to first base, and again, not much has changed on the primary first base front without any really new cards other than the event reward Carlos Santana. He lacks a little contact on one side. While he's not a bad card, Taglia is the guy to use as a switch hitter though. I think his bat is elite. He's 100% worth it, at least as a bench bat, to be that 5th bench bat on your team. His bat has been really, really good for me. But when we include first base secondaries, we gotta talk about Mr. Stan the Man. Obviously, Carlos Santana stays in the A tier, but Stan Musial, I think, is a great first base option. He's a lot like Babe Ruth. We'll call him Babe Ruth Jr. on the offensive side. He's got higher contact than the power. The attributes are very solid. He has better defense. If you're gonna play him in a corner outfield, he's gonna have gold fielding. He might make the better plays. As someone who used David Justice for a while with gold fielding, I think a good bet in left or right field, in Stan's case, right field, is worth a shot on your team. If you don't have many options, pick up Stan by the end of the program or pick him up for free in the pack. I think he's going to be a top tier corner outfield option at this point in the game. Don't play this man in center field. Consider him at first base if you don't like other guys, or play him in the corner. Honus Wagner, not a great first base option. It's the only time I will put a card like this in the A tier. Not a bad hitter, like honestly, but this is such a power premium position. Your first baseman has to be one of, if not your best hitter in your lineup. So you got to make sure you get good hitting there, and Honus lacks hitting wise. So his defense and speed is kind of not necessary at first base. So I put him in the A tier. However, if for some reason you need him as a backup first baseman or something, you can definitely do that. Now we move to second base. And in terms of primary second baseman, there has not been a single card added this week. However, as you see, it's a not stacked position. And you should definitely consider someone like Baez, Foscue, or Utley. Baez isn't a must use. Baez isn't bad though. He's very nice. Foscue, good as well. Utley, also solid, and I think Vidal Brujan is very respectable. Especially if you're making a World Series push, having some lineup balance and having some other options like a shortstop are likely going to be more valuable for you at a secondary at second base over a primary second baseman, unless you really like one of those primary players. As you see, we include the secondaries. Guys like Soriano become really, really good options. I've heard a lot of great things on Soriano. I gotta try him. Eduardo Escobar right now is who I am running at second. I think he's got gold defense at parallel 3. Running him at second or short. I've started to understand the Ketel Marte love as well, and Jorge Polanco. Any 3 of those switch hitters are definitely S-tier type players, because they actually bring good hitting to the table. Thing is, decide which one you want to use. Check out my face-off video, where I put them all head-to-head, and I think you can make a decision just based off of that. But I love Escobar, and I'm starting to try Ketel again. There's a lot of options again. Secondary positions. Shortstop guys are definitely good ones to use. Hannes Wagner here, just being real, is a viable second baseman if you like the speedy type player, but his power is a little lackluster, so honestly, he's going to be a lot like this Mason Wynn type hitter. You might like his swing a little bit. I feel like people like his swing at the very least. Now we move to shortstop. Again, no change on the shortstop front when we're not including secondaries. Again, Jorge Polanco is definitely an S-tier option. His defense is a little poo-poo, but his bat switch hitting value is really nice. But our other options, I tried Correa, and Correa is pretty fun. Cleo Watson, Gunnar Henderson are 2 that I don't really love myself. Anyone in your A tier and above are viable shortstops at this point in the game. You could still be using Corey Seager and be more than fine. The new future star is Bo Bichette, by the way. Actually not a bad shortstop. I actually like his swing a ton. I want a really good Bo Bichette, but this card doesn't bring enough yet. Including secondaries, again, you're going to see Hannes the Noodle slide on in again as an S-tier second baseman and shortstop. Solid at one of those 2 positions. If you're going to play him anywhere, play him at center or shortstop in second. I think at third base and first, where there's a lot of depth and a lot of power, he's worse off in those positions. Rock a switch hitter. I have Escobar at short right now and Ketel at second. And that duo I think is pretty fun. Now we move to third, and again, no primary third basemen have dropped. Third base is such a deep position. Someone like Brett Endeavors or Beatty I think are the best options. Beatty Endeavors I kind of put 1 and 1. I think Longo is very well rounded. I wish he got a little bit more love. But yeah, other than that, we got the new Gio Urshela, which is definitely a viable third baseman, actually. Very budget-friendly beginner card. I like his bat a ton. And Harmon Killebrew is probably an all-star warrior like these B cards are. Cards that have some really good power, but also have some low contact versus one side. A lot of these do, at least. So I would consider him if you're just starting off the game. When it includes secondaries at third, you see Mr. Hannes. I have him in S tier right now, but again, he's definitely worse off at third base. It's such a stacked position, power-wise. Someone like Pujols, Esco, Jimmy, these guys in the S plus tier, like all these guys swing for more power. It'll be more valuable at third base, but at the very least, at least it's viable to rock a shortstop at a secondary if you really like them. And if you like Hannes, you definitely can use him at third. Now we slide over to the outfield. In terms of no secondaries, there's a lot of outfielders. Pretty obvious at this point in the game, we have a ton of cards here. Looking at our different tiers, your B tier and above are honestly, viable cards. Like your B tier are definitely solid bench bats or very beginner cards. Your A tier are definitely the ones I would really suggest as your beginner cards. Guys like Reynolds, even face the franchise Trout. Incredible beginner cards. If you don't have options or you really like them, you could definitely use them. But your S tier are the best of the best. And I think Hannes, for example, is a great center field option. You have him in your outfield, definitely play him at center though, because his speed, defense, he actually gets a diamond fielding at a certain parallel. If you're gonna rock him, play him in center. Right now, I'm rocking Springer. I'm gonna try him some more. I had some fun with him the game I played with him. Mike Trout, also incredible at this point in the game, still back to a 95. Clemente, Babe, Castellanos, these guys are my personal favorites of the bunch. However, players to keep an eye out on, Soriano, Springer, and Vlad Sr. I really liked. And if you really like Ketel and have a lot of middle infield options, play Ketel in the outfield and you're going to be just dandy. Stan Musial is definitely a great corner outfield option like I mentioned before. I think, his defense being slightly worse as a right fielder is made up for with the bat, because his bat is going to be a really good one. If you don't like Babe, try Stan Musial, I'm telling you. And other than that, just to note of any new cards, we have Jay Buhner, his 6 series from the event. A solid beginner card. But again, just lacking a little bit in the speed and not bringing enough contact to the table to really be used on Hall of Fame and above. But again, a good corner outfielder if you enjoy his cards. Other than that, I don't think there's really much of anything here other than our program cards kind of being in the B and C tier. And just to talk about the secondaries with outfield, If you really like third base, slide Brett Beatty out there. You can play something like a Togli out there. You could even put that switch hitter like Escobar out there. If you're talking about the best cards of the best, I really think the guy is going to be the S+ tier, and these guys like Vlad, Springer, Soriano. All these guys really, including some of these future star cards, down to Escobar really, I think are the best of the best in terms of outfield options. Now we go to our starting pitching. Not much has changed in this front. I was very hesitant where to put Valenzuela, but I've kind of come to a conclusion in where I think Valenzuela's place is. If you're playing people who suck at hitting on Hall of Fame or whatever difficulty you're on, they're going to struggle against Valenzuela. He might battle against some good hitters. The screwball and circle change, playing those two pitches off each other, are really the wave, because they look similar, but the circle change is a lot slower. So you kind of got to mess with people's timing with that. He is going to be a solid pitcher. I think he's right on the edge of A tier, though. I think in even just weeks' time, I could see him bump down to the A tier if more and more people face him. I don't think he's as scary as he was just last year with his 93 overall card or whatever at the beginning of that game. Also want to note, Chris Sale, his lightning card that we're going to get this week, we're getting at tomorrow in the monthly awards, definitely going to be an S tier type pitcher. You can use your rotation. Again, I don't think he's going to be incredible, but I think he'll be a good one. And then finally, Brandon Webb. I have him in the A tier. More so of a 4-5 starter in your rotation if you need it. Things with Brandon Webb, he throws slow, but he's missing a little something. Like, he doesn't have Greg Maddux level control or break, but also doesn't have that great of hits per 9. So someone with control like that, with not great hits per 9, might get his butt kicked. So I'll put him in the A tier. He's very close to Mike Messina, I would say personally. He's definitely like an okay 5 starter, but that's about it. And then our relievers, we got to talk about Mr. Raleigh Fingers. Plop him right on in the S tier. He's definitely going to be a good reliever for your pen. There isn't much reliever depth in this game. I think he's valuable because he throws the sinker and the forkball, throws a little slower than some of our other pitchers. Guys like Yohan Duran, Brian Wilson are all velocity. So I think having a mix of high velo guys and slow velo guys are nice. And Raleigh Fingers is a respectable reliever. I don't think he's going to be as good as Goose Gossage, for example, or Zach Britton, the guys who throw hard and really do a good job of inducing swings and misses in weak contact. However, Raleigh will be a good one to enter in like the 6th, 7th inning of a game and get like a clean inning at that point when you're transitioning out of your starter. The new Seth Lugo, by the way, you can lull people to sleep with that windup, by the way. And then our bench bats to wrap it up. In case you want to use Stan Musial as a bench bat, he's a good one. Again, Jay Buhner, a little lackluster on the contact, but good bench bat if you are looking for one. Honestly, I'm going to put Luis Gonzalez in the S tier as a bench bat. I think his bat's really good. I always like his swing. But yeah, if you're looking for a bench bat, if you're going to use anyone as a bench bat, use Stan. The contact versus both sides is great. He'll be actually a very well-rounded bench bat for you. But it's still this point in the game, Nelly Cruz is really good for a righty. Jock Peterson is great. Devers, Delgado, great bench bats. If you don't want to start Babe, use him on the bench. And as I mentioned before, this is my current God squad that I'm rocking. Again, I have Trout on the bench because I want to mix up the team. I could use him in center, but this is the current God squad I am rocking. And in the rotation, this is who we are rocking as of now. I'm constantly shuffling my team in case you don't know, so I'm always trying new players. But right now, I feel really confident with this team. Even with Escobar at shortstop with his slower speed, I have a lot of fun with these guys. So yeah, that is going to be it for me. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up and make sure you sub down below. We do these videos every week, updating the tier lists. And next week, we're going to have the monthly award cards to add on to the tier lists. And just about a week-ish out from the All-Star game and its content, about 10 days. So I am very excited for all of that to start coming into the game. Make sure you check out my other debuts of the Sizzling Summer bosses in case you haven't watched them. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Swing by the stream if you want to hang out with me tonight. And I'll see you all again on the next video. Deuces.